If you look at the mainstream media, you get a false sensation of what's happening inside the economy. We need to look at what we experience at the grocery store, the bills we've got to pay, opening our window, talking to our friends and neighbors, and then we will get the truth. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. In today's video, we are going to talk about cardboard. Yes, that's right. I'll explain why in a second here. And then we're going to talk about uranium. We're going to look at oil. I'm going to show you what's going on in the economy and give you a little bit of an indication as to what's going on using the data. And then you can decide what you must do for your portfolio, for your retirement account, and the decisions that you got to make for yourself and your family. How's that sound? Let's begin. What cardboard prices tell us about the state of the economy. Cardboard producers are boosting prices for the first time since early 2022. You thought I was kidding when I said we were going to talk about cardboard. Now, if you produce physical products, you get excited about cardboard, okay? And the measurements, the materials, where is the UPC code? How is it going to look? Everything, the drop tests, all of that stuff. Okay, but if you don't, you probably don't even ever notice cardboard, okay, except when you gotta put it in the recycling. In this video, I want to talk about what cardboard potentially could be signaling, but I want to look at other resources as well because we take it for granted, right? I mean, you order something, you get the cardboard, you throw it away, that's it, it's gone. And if you're not working in that industry, you typically just don't pay attention, but it's a bellwether. It's a signal. Cardboard prices are pointing to better times ahead. Producers are lifting prices for the thick paper used to make delivery boxes for the first time since the Federal Reserve began raising interest rates early last year. And that's an interesting thing because the demand for cardboard means stuff is moving in and out, right? That's it. Okay. It is a sign of inventory hoarding that characterized, by the 2020 circumstance recovery that's ending right now. Okay. If history is any guide, more expensive cardboard also suggests that the economy is revving up. Some analysts warn it's too soon, and that is true. You don't want to necessarily say, "Oh, here's the cardboard prices. I'm gonna start to buy all kinds of stocks." And no. It's just an indicator. It's like, hey, check it out. This is something important. All right. And basically, they talk about the individual prices and so on. We don't need to show you that, but you can see share price versus index performance. And I'm telling you, you guys were buying this Magnificent Seven. You were buying Apple and Amazon. What you should have been doing, like I talked about in 2020, back then I was saying buy 7 2x4s. You gotta buy 7 cardboard boxes. And that's how you get rich, baby. Look at this. Look at those prices beating the S&P 500. Cardboard. Cardboard. You were trying to find the next fancy thing. You were trying to buy the next AI stock. You were out there looking for cryptocurrencies, and it was right in front of your front door when the Amazon delivery guy brought it. Cardboard boxes. I mean, yeah, I'm trying to be silly about it, but this is the kind of thing that we got to look at and understand that we got to broaden our analysis. Because I bet for most people, they didn't realize that this was going on. Okay? And you don't have to be in the industry to understand it. Now, uranium, I've been talking about this consistently since 2020. Of course, always talked about it before, but I've been like harping on it since 2020 and we could see the prices. Well, now we got a few things. Uranium finally running hot and miners can't keep up. Supply setbacks have contributed to the surge in prices of the nuclear fuel for the highest level since 2008. And then we have this, which is Russia uranium supplier warns U.S. clients to brace for ban. So what does that mean? Shortages. What goes on with shortages? Higher prices. If you got to start to look for an alternative source, that can push the price up. And if somebody's buying it from one place, they could be, creating a shortage on the other end, right? So it's not just, one side or the other. Uranium. People start talking about, thorium is better than uranium. Yeah, for a lot of reasons it is. But you can't make a nuke out of it. And so guess what's going to take off? That's just the way it goes, okay? So uranium, very popular. I was talking about chemical. I was talking about the physical as well. There's ways to buy at the physical uranium too, Sprott, ETF, and others. But the performance, just look at chemical, which is the one. And I only said chemical just specifically for the purpose of the fact that, that's the big boy, right? And that's one that has performed extremely well, extremely well. And why? Well, what I have said over and over and over again is that the money is going into it, that all of this ESG and things, look, we're not getting enough from the wind power. We need something that can actually sustain the growth. If you watch the interview that was done with Jeff Bezos recently, Lex Friedman, he talked about how we need to increase energy per capita. If we want to grow, if we want to actually be able to do good things, we need more energy per capita expenditure. But we got to do that in a way that is reasonable, okay? And has to be cost efficient. If it's not cost efficient, you got a problem. And so if it, you got to look at how much energy does it take to build a solar panel, right? You got to take the resources. All these things need to be factored in. The whole supply chain, how long it takes, how long it lasts, what happens at the end of the life cycle. All these factors need to be taken into account. And of course, for nuclear, what they are doing right now is they're saying, hey, we got to get into this next generation stuff. And if that's the case, it can potentially power cities for long periods of time. Apparently, the new ones are a lot safer than the old ones. I don't know, but we'll see. So that's uranium. That's what's going on today. The energy usage and, of course, energy per capita. Very important stuff. Analysts say that oil prices are unlikely to hit $100 in 2024. All the way through next year? We were talking about $150 oil, and now not even $100 oil? Well, OPEC Plus faces record-breaking U.S. oil production and rising supply from other non-OPEC Plus producers, including Brazil, Guyana, Canada, and Norway. Very interesting. All right. Is this really, though, a sign of waning demand due to recession? Some people argue one way, shape, or form. It is going to impact everybody because even at today's prices, that gasoline price is out of control in a lot of places. At least the last time I filled up, I almost fainted with just looking at the price. I said, what? Panama Canal jam spurs alternate ship routes. That's one. So you got the Panama Canal. What happens? It's drying up. You can't get the big ships through. You got an issue because now they got to find an alternate route. That means it's going to take longer, and that means it's more expensive. Not a good thing. Brings the freight rates up, and of course, people can't get what they need. These issues right here, it's more inflation. It causes more inflation. More big shipping firms stop Red Sea routes after attacks. So here's another place where we have an issue for a different reason. But regardless, if stuff can't move from point A to point B, you've got a big problem. Prices go up. If prices go up, that of course slows things down. We don't need to realize, don't need to understand more than that. You could see this measured in different ways with inflation. This happens to be the Producer Price Index, PPI. That has declined considerably. So the raw materials, the input costs have gone down in terms of their year-over-year increases, if that makes any sense. And so just like the CPI, just like the inflation indicators you tend to hear about, that has come down quite a bit. That means that the input costs for a lot of these businesses have been a little bit more stable. And that is a good sign for companies that want to spend. They don't have to spend what they were before. Shipping costs have gone down considerably as well. I know, and we'll talk about that in a sec, I've been experiencing that. Transportation capacity grows faster in November and prices continue to slide. The last shipment I did, prices had come down. So they quadrupled the prices that I pay to ship stuff within the United States. So I'm shipping 2,000 units, I'm shipping 4,000 units, and that went literally 4x or maybe even 5x from the bottom point. So I was paying about 4 cents a unit. And then we got to, let's just say 4x on that. Then what has happened recently is that it's come down to 7 cents a unit. Now, here's the thing, and this is why inflation is tricky. So 7 cents a unit, I'm celebrating. I'm saying, oh, great, the prices have come down. This is fantastic. But we were at 4 cents a unit. I think in 2021, I was still at 4 cents a unit, maybe even 2022. And then it just shot up like crazy. So I'm celebrating 7 cents a unit. Am I ever going to see 4 cents a unit again? I'm not holding my breath. You see what happens. Prices go up, up, up. We're strangled. Prices come down just a little bit. I can breathe. But really, you're now in this state of new normal. And that's what they keep doing. They drown you. They give you an inch of air. And now suddenly you're comfortable with that. They drown you. They give you an inch of air. This is going on intentionally. Do not for a second ever think that these prices and the way that things happen is not part of a program. One very clear and distinct circumstance is what you see with housing. This is just talking about the prices of interest and so on. Yeah, the prices have come down, but we find overall that everything is unaffordable. And that is a sign that the economy itself is weak. It's weak. And so the expectation here is that they're going to print money, is that they're going to do some sort of stimulus. I have heard many times before about the infrastructure projects of 2024. We'll see if they do go ahead with that, but literally trillions of dollars worth could be pumped in to the system. Whether it happens or not, that would be something to pay close attention to because there are a lot of companies that will benefit from that. But we know that this is something that is going to cost a lot of money, right? You got to pay for that. And that means more inflation down the road, okay? So keep that in mind. If you want to know the details of like this in depth, if you want to stay tuned to what I have to offer each and every single week, I have this thing called internally we call it the Finance Fridays, but it's the Money GPS Finance Live. Every single Friday, I go in for 2 hours. Every single Friday for 2 hours, I look at the stock charts. I look at the indicators. I bring up any news that has come up over the week that it just won't work in this type of format of YouTube. Now I'm including the GPTs, which is called Fire Your Financial Advisor, because you're going to be able to take the current conditions and the way that it works. It reads all previous cycles before it. It puts those into buckets and then says, hey, based on current data, which bucket do we fit in? You get the current bucket. You compare that to the current circumstance compared with the previous buckets. You get to learn about that, get all the details, and understand what are the best investments right now based on these conditions. It tells you all of that. This will be released in the first quarter of 2024, and everybody in my group will get those. I want to thank you for all of my people inside the Finance Fridays, small Zoom classes that we have. Really, really fantastic thing. If you want any of those details, go into the description below. I have people emailing me every single day related to it, and I want to see you there. There's no contracts. You can cancel at any time. That's it. Link will be in the description at the top. That's all. I want to thank you for being here today. Hit that thumbs up button. When you do, you're supporting me. Not only does it support the channel, but it notifies the algorithm like, hey, check this guy out. Good stuff. All right. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.